Hi, my name is Bob and welcome back to the homestead, y'all. Well, it's that time of year again. It's time to take inventory and stock of all our seeds. If you haven't made a seed order yet, go ahead and pause this video right now, open a new tab, and go and make your seed order now. Today is January 29th. We've already have all our seed orders but one. We're going to expand our herb garden this year. We're going to grow a lot more herbs, so I'm waiting on some herb seeds. But as far as our vegetables go, we have what few seeds we do order. Most of the seeds we collect ourselves. You can see seeds laying around everywhere, and we'll go through all those seeds here in a minute. But the seeds that we don't collect are the hybrids that we grow. We do have to order those. Some of our tomatoes, like the Jet Star hybrid, we have to order it. And then of course several of them that are heirloom, we save the seeds from those. And we put them in the little envelopes once they're dry. Or we'll put them in Ziploc bags of some sort or some kind of tie bags once we know they're good and dry. But if you haven't placed your seed order, you need to get it placed. I know I order from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds mostly. I do order from Totally Tomato. I order some peppers from them and some tomato seeds from them. But most things I order heirloom seeds for Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And I know their website's been shut down twice already this month because they had so many orders they couldn't fill them. So they shut their website down, put a little notice up. I think the last time they shut down on a Friday and didn't start taking orders again until that next Wednesday. So if you haven't placed your seed order, if you have to order seeds, go ahead. Like I said, pause this video right now, open a new tab, and get your seeds ordered. You know, last year with the COVID-19, there was record numbers of people growing gardens, and I think that's just wonderful. I think, in my opinion, everybody should grow a garden. There's nothing like going out to a garden and picking fresh vegetables and bringing them into the kitchen and cooking them up. They just taste so much better than anything you can buy in a store. But today I was just going to go over some of the things we're going to grow this year. I haven't sat down and made a plan yet for the garden. I generally do that the week before I plant my garden. I know a lot of people may think that's crazy. I see people right now, they have their garden printed out and planned out, which is great. I'm not that type of gardener. I like to go out about a week or two before I'm going to plant the garden, and then I'll decide where I'm going to plant what plants. I'll take what was there last year, and I try not to plant the same thing in the same place. The only exception to that, I do have a tomato grow that I grow at the end of our old chicken coop that I've planted tomatoes. This will be the third year in a row. And last year they grew to 12 feet tall. I didn't have any issues with disease last year. Now, if I'd had issues with disease, I probably wouldn't plant tomatoes back in there again this year, because if you plant the same crop over and over, not only are they pulling the same nutrients from the soil, but the disease for that plant gets in your soil, and then it transfers the next year back to the same plant. So I like to do crop rotation in our main garden. We always do that. But like I said, I do have a couple separate smaller gardens around the homestead that we don't do it. But we'll talk about that a little bit and talk about what to plant where in your garden. You know, you've heard of companion planting. That's definitely true. Like your beans, if you're an heirloom seed collector, you don't want to plant your beans too close together, because beans the pollen can blow for hundreds and hundreds of feet. Actually, you can go online and look up charts and see how far you have to keep some seed plants from each other to keep them from cross-pollinating. So that's a big issue, especially with beans. That's why I have 2 or 3 growing places that are probably 200 to 300 yards apart, which we have enough property to do that. And I understand a lot of people don't have that much property and can't do that, and that's perfectly fine. But if we want to keep our beans true, like the old-fashioned beans now we've grown for several years, I do still have 1 packet left, but we also have saved old-fashioned beans. And I plant them on the back side of our homestead. Bean that we really like to grow. Same with the Roma 2s. You want to watch which way your dominant wind direction is. Like in the summertime, we get most of our winds out of the south or southwest. So I try not to plant anything downwind, especially when it comes to the beans or the tomatoes. I try not to plant anything downwind of those because I know those have the possibility of getting cross-contaminated or cross-pollinated. But one thing for sure is, whenever you go to harvest your beans and you dry them out and you open the pods, most of the time you can tell if they've been cross-pollinated, especially like with an old-fashioned bean. All those beans are brown beans. If you open a pod up, which I've done before, and you have white and brown beans, or you have speckled beans inside, then you know that got cross-pollinated with something. And most of the time it doesn't hurt anything. You can go ahead and plant that bean and it'll be very close to the original the next year. So let's go over some of the new seeds, some of the new plants that we're going to grow this year. I'll just start. Of course, we mostly order from Baker Creek heirloom seeds. We do order from Native Seed also. I ordered some Yuma red okra from Native Seed. They have an excellent selection on heirloom seeds. But let's just start with what we're going to do new this year, and then we'll get into some of the varieties that we grow year after year after year. But new this year, we're going to grow some Chinese red noodle beans, some rattlesnake pole beans, some dragon tongue beans, Cherokee Trail of Tears black bean. This is a black bean. This is a new variety we're going to grow. We're going to grow some purple teepees. I did purchase some of these, but I have some that a friend of ours gave us, and she loves those. She says they're very prolific and they're a great cannon bean. And then we're going to grow some Chinese python beans. Of course, we'll grow all our normal beans. Some of the heirloom beans that we save from year to year. This is a white bean, the northern white bean. And we're going to grow Blue Lake beans again this year. And then we have some Roma 2s, which I still have some Roma 2s left right here from Baker Creek Heirloom that I'd ordered last year. Of course, we grow our normal white half runners, and then we grow Kentucky Wonders, and of course we'll be growing our regular red dark kidney beans and our pinto beans also. So those are varieties that we grow year after year. They're heirloom seeds, and we collect those from each year. We're going to be growing some new collards this year too. This is a Georgia Southern Creole collard. I'm going to try it. It's supposed to do better in the heat. This was a free pack of seeds. This is Red Russian. We grow Red Russian kale, but ours isn't as dark as this, so maybe ours isn't a pure variety. It's more green and has some red tint to it. But this looks really red, so I'm anxious to grow some of it and try it and save the seed off it this year. I'm growing some oats this year. Of course, we're going to grow our normal hickory cane, which that's what this seed is here. And we're going to grow oats and hickory cane and some flax. Also, we normally buy our flax. And then we're going to grow some, this is white hickory cane, and then we have some yellow hickory cane, that seed that my wife saved. I call her the harvest queen because she goes around and saves all our seeds for us, thank goodness, and marks them all, and then puts them in paper bags and dries them, and then puts them in the plastic bags. But she does a great job on that. But the reason we're going to grow the hickory cane or hickory king, whatever you want to call it, white and yellow, the oats, is because we're going to try to grow enough food not only for ourselves this year, but for our livestock also. So that's one of our goals this year, that we've grown a little bit over the years to try to help supplement feed cost. But this year we're going to try to grow as much as we can, and hopefully we can grow enough to where we don't have to buy any feed either all year for our livestock. But that, like I said, we normally buy our flax, but we're going to start growing it. We're going to grow some watercress this year, a new type of pickling cucumber that we're going to grow this year, which normally we grow a sweet barkless cucumber, but it's a hybrid. I've saved seeds from it before, and the cucumbers that come off it are pretty good. So we have some of those seeds saved. We're going to grow some Tennessee red cob corn, some Stoll's evergreen corn, and some painted mountain corn. Now normally on our corn, our sweet corns, we grow Incredible and Serendipity. Both of those corns do well in our soil, and they're an extremely sweet corn, so we love those two. So that's the kind of corn we're going to be growing this year. We're going to be growing some golden California Wonder Peppers. We have green California Wonder Peppers here that we saved, some more here, and we're going to be growing a big red pepper. And new this year, we're going to be growing this orange horizon bell pepper. So I'm excited to grow that one. I'm going to try to grow some peanuts. I ordered some white Spanish peanuts. Hopefully they'll grow good in our soil. We have sandy soil and peanuts like sandy soil. So hopefully those will do well. If these grow well, then I'll keep 100% of the peanut seed for next year and start trying to grow us some peanuts so that way we can have peanut butter, make our own peanut butter. Our tomatoes, we're going to be growing our normal. We do have to order some tomato seeds. We grow a few hybrids, this Jet Star hybrid, which is a great cannon tomato, and we usually grow a Better Boy, which is a hybrid, but then we also grow Amish Paste, which is an heirloom tomato, which we have seeds for that, and we grow a Sweet 100 cherry tomato, a smaller tomato, but those plants get huge. And then we're also going to try a tasty pink beefsteak tomato this year and see how it does. As far as okra goes, we normally grow our spineless okra, which that's what all this seed is here. This is a Clemson spineless okra, and you can see how much seed we saved, and we still have a few pods laying around that have seeds in them that we just let dry out, and I've got to get those seeds out and get them bagged up and marked. We're also going to grow a couple different red okras this year. We're going to grow a Yuma red okra. We're going to try it out and see how it does, and then we're going to grow a Texas Hill Country red okra. So those will be the okra varieties that we grow this year. We're also going to grow regular jalapeno peppers, which we've saved some. And this is a new type bean that my wife and I were in Kentucky. We were on the roller coaster yard sale, and we stopped at a yard sale, and there's a retired couple there, and they grew daylilies, and she probably had 1,500 to 2,000 daylilies, and I'm a big daylily grower. So her and I got to talking, and the husband came out, and we all four got to talking, and they invited us around back to their garden spot. This was the 1st of October. So their garden was pretty much done for the year. They still had a few things, but they gave us this bean. I've never heard of it before, but it's called Robert Hazelwood bean. So she was kind enough to give us some of those. They gave us some speckled duck peas, which I've never grown those before, never even heard of them before. We normally grow sweet peas and winter peas, and snow peas are the peas that we grow, so I'm anxious to try some of that. And then they gave us, these little cherry tomatoes. They're called Midnight Snack Tomatoes. So we're going to grow some of those this year. So we're excited to get to grow those. We'll also be putting in kale soon. Of course, we try to keep kale growing all year long. In fact, I picked some kale about 3 days ago. But our kale, we normally grow Red Russian in the wintertime because it does the best throughout the winter. And then we grow blue Scotch and smooth German. So those are the 3 type kales we'll be planting early this spring. Of course, your kales don't do as well once it gets warmer, but we let them go to seed and then we collect the seed off of it. That's what this bag here is. This is all kale seed. There's probably 2 or 3 pounds of kale seed in that bag there. So we'll have that going in. We'll be growing cabbage. The 2 types we'll grow will be red acre cabbage and golden acre cabbage. So those are the 2 cabbages. We'll be growing spinach, which we grow Bloomsdale, long-standing spinach, and giant noble spinach. So those are the 2 types of spinaches. We'll be growing our normal early and straight crooked neck squash, and we'll be growing our regular summer crooked neck squash this year also. We have seeds for them here, squash seeds that we've saved. We still have several squash that we haven't even opened up and took the seed out of yet. Because most of the time, like with a squash, when you're saving an heirloom seed, you want to let it get as big as it's going to get and then pick it and then just set it aside for 2, 3, 4 weeks before you cut it open and get those seeds out. Sometimes, like right now, we still have squash and zucchini that we let dried out. We haven't even pulled the seeds out of them yet. So we'll go in there. It being winter time, when we get time, we'll go ahead and cut them open and get the seeds out of those and finish drying them and make sure they're in good shape. But they should be good and dry, just like this okra. There's several okra pods like this, and I can hear them shaking in there, so I know they're good and dry. They split and open up, and they get dried out. So we still have some more squash and zucchini seeds that we have to get out of there. Cantaloupe, we'll be growing sugar cube cantaloupe this year. That's a small cantaloupe. It's not real big, but it's just sweet as sugar. We'll also be growing our regular honeydew melons. We grow them from year to year. We'll be growing our regular leaf lettuces, our iceberg lettuce, our romaine lettuce. We have just a blend of leaf lettuces that we grow, and of course, there again, we let those go to seed every year and replenish our seed stock. And one thing we do like is leafy greens. We try to grow greens all year long, which once we get our greenhouse built and our hoop house built, we'll be able to grow greens all year long, no problem. So that way we can have kale and spinach, different lettuces and different cabbages that we can grow, and broccoli that we can grow. We will be growing broccoli this year also. I don't have any of that seed in here. I've got it in another container. I didn't bring that container in, but we have a bulk amount of broccoli. We ended up getting a 50-pound bag of broccoli seed from a friend of ours that worked at a seed company. So we snatched it up because I use the broccoli. I use it in our cover crops also to help improve the soil. But if you have any questions or comments about anything we're growing, if I've left something out that you want to grow but you're not sure about, just put it in the comments below and we'll get to it as quick as we can. We're not experts on growing everything. My wife and I both were raised on farms, and we've been growing gardens our entire lives. So we've grown quite a few gardens over the years. One thing I did forget to mention is this year we're going to be growing 1,000 head kale. I used to grow that for years. I grew 1,000 head kale, and one year I forgot to let it go to seed, and I didn't get any seed from it. So this year I ordered 6 packs from Baker Creek of the 1,000 head kale. I'm going to start growing it again. I'll be growing it also in the greenhouse, and I'm going to let it go to seed so that way I can keep seed from it this year. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and thanks for watching.